Good day, everybody, or afternoon, however you want to put it. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. There we go. It's been one of those crazy weeks. I don't even want to get started on it, but I'll wait because nobody's online. That's right, I'm trying to fix my camera. My camera is not wanting to be center today. It wants to be off center. Okay, here we go. There we go. Hello, Renee. Sorry, I was fixing my back pillow. Uh, I'll wait a little bit longer, see who all comes on. I won't wait a long time though because I just want to start. Oh, look, we got 10 people, and I didn't put enough honey in here. Hello, Patty. Uh, Here in a second, I'll tell you about my week. I know it's midweek or a little bit past midweek, but it's been a crazy week. Granted, I will not get into details about certain things because I am leaving them to Jerry. So we're not going to talk about, you know, what's going on outside of the house. Um, Renee, I saw that for a second. I will say that everything is actually going great. Honestly, I think things are improving between me and Jerry. Been spending a lot of thought into what's going on lately. And yesterday, well, let's try to start with Monday. Monday and Tuesday were kind of, and we had appointments on Tuesday or Monday. Let's look at the calendar. I have see here today. Okay. Yes, Jerry had a doctor's appointment at 11 o'clock in the morning. I had a follow up um, with my doctor um, the same day, almost the same time, but you know, so I didn't get to. It was like one of these things where it's like, okay, take Jerry to her doctor's appointment, go do my appointment, and then once my appointment is done, swing around and get Jerry. That was like one of those days, and because we had nobody to watch. No, TC watched the puppy Monday. I don't remember what was going on with the dog on Monday. I know the dog was not left home, so I'm assuming no. She was in the van the whole time I was seeing the doctor. I do believe. Um, oh, I have a lot of good news. I mean, um, basically the week was kind of one of those like crazy day, good day. Today's a good day. So, you know, I'm just rolling with the punches. Um, but after spending most of yesterday thinking or pondering things, not only things that were going on with me, but what was going on with Jerry. And yeah, some of it I was involved in when it came to Jerry, but for the most part, um, I was leaving Jerry to make her own decisions. I was just there to basically take care of her. And I'm not going to say it's an easy job taking care of Jerry, but I realized with my pondering yesterday, if I were to put myself in her shoes and with what's going on, I would definitely be a little upset at people. I would most likely be more upset with Jerry than my caretaker or whomever was not doing their job according to what I know. Um, so I realized what Jerry's going through, and I went, I gotta step up. I gotta step up, and I gotta do more for Jerry and be around Jerry more than I have been, and I'm like, I can't even remember, let alone. I mean, it's like, why am I stepping away? Why am I pushing myself away from my wife who needs me? So I came to a lot of realizations, not recollections, realizations that I can do all the housework and all the things that I have on my to do list for the house, and still have time to spend, time with Jerry. It's one of those things where it's like we're not going to talk about her, Renee, because one, I was asked by Jerry not to until she gets it all figured out or gets it all situated. But this is not just now that I need to be doing this. I have to be prepared both mentally and physically to be doing it when we get to Colorado. And yes, Colorado's still a thing. It's just it got pushed back a little bit more because of health issues, basically my health issues. Jerry's issues are basically just going to talk to their doctors and keep track of her cancer. In fact, she's going in. I think it's early or mid next week. She's going to get an MRI, and instead of trying to change my MRI for the same location Jerry's getting hers, they just changed my date because we went, oops, we're both supposed to be doing MRIs at the same time. Mine is here in town, hers is like 45 minutes away and in Lebanon. Actually, it might be more than 45 minutes, it might be closer to an hour because it's almost the halfway point between here and Springfield. Um, Good morning, Crafty. Um, well, right now the news from the doctor is basically, um, well, the doctor she went to recently was not even the cancer doctor or anything like that. But right now everything is status quo. Um, there's no major changes that is being shown on any of her scans or blood tests. Um, they did see in her nuclear bone a shadow on her left hip area, and they want her to go for an MRI to see what that is, so they can try to rule it out as maybe it was just the way she was sitting, the machinery, who knows. But the doctors want an MRI of that area to basically clear up any questions or find out what it could be. Um, Other than that, things have been good news. I mean, her primary was happy with things the way they are. Um, Last time we talked to the one doctor that has um, some say in what's going on with her. He's basically the quarterback of the group of people that's working with Jerry on her cancer. And right now, it's like there has been no changes, no good, no bad changes. So everything is just like, let's just put it this way: the way I put it when I first heard it was like, so the cancer is basically flatlined. It's not dead, but it's not active. So it's basically neutral. Um, so I'm happy about that. Um, as for me and my health, let's just say I have on 20, the 20th, I do believe it is, this coming Tuesday. I'm going to see the pain management people for a consultation. Basically, sit down and talk about what the problem is and what the possible solutions or what we can do to keep it from being a major problem whether it's going to be cortisone shots, which I've heard good and bad about those, or an ablation on the nerve, um, that and PT. And I'm like, PT is going to be a killer, especially if the my insurance basically says, yeah, he needs a PT for that. Um, because I already know from doing work around the house and carrying in groceries yesterday, and I know I did not do a grocery haul. I was going to let Jerry do it, but she didn't feel up to it, so I just put the groceries away. But Walmart, I love. Don't get me wrong. Walmart as a job was not exactly my forte. Too many things I just red flag, red flag, red flag. How are they passing, you know, health inspectors? Oh, we don't use state health inspectors. We use private. So basically, you can buy them off type deal. But I've been in in jobs that had private. Taco Bell had well, they were part of the corporate. The health inspector was private, so they were part of the Taco Bell system. They weren't like government agents or anything like that. And the way we passed on several inspections was like, hello, so that's why it's like that's why my brain was like, well, if I was at least 20 years younger in my in my 30s and was smart with money and whatnot, I would open up my own business and I'd make sure that we passed any kind of inspection. Otherwise, some people would be getting yelled at and forced to clean up or take your leave. And I don't mean forced like I bring them in on their day off and not pay them. I mean, like, look, you got a choice. Keep your areas clean, or I'm going to be looking for more professional type people and getting rid of the young kids who just want to, hey, I've been here, I get paid, right? Did you do your job right? Either that, they'll get their hours cut. But that's wishful thinking. I don't, at my age with my health conditions and whatnot. No, I'm not going to be able to open up my own business. Not unless it's one of these like pre-planned type deals. But I mean, we're 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 still looking at Colorado. Um, the one thing that we were concerned about, but I don't think I am anymore, is what we're doing for home housing. Great. Part of my breath is stuck in between my teeth. Sorry, TMI. But mom was talking about getting one of those tiny homes, those one level tiny homes, so she don't have to climb up into a loft. And well, let's just say I've been looking at them, and I will tell you this much: if we can buy a piece of land and get two tiny homes, one for mom, one for me and Jerry. Granted, we'd have to build a very large storage unit on the land, but some of them look really nice. And I was actually looking at what they call a pod, and it's a modernized looking. Best way I can look at it is a giant capsule, and everything is in this giant capsule. It's all pretty much push a button, do this, do that. But the downside is it's from. I don't even call it a downside. I think it's just I don't know of any companies here in America that make them, but they're from like Asia somewhere. I don't know if it's China or Japan, but they look pretty cool. And I looked up the information, and it's like it's pretty much all digitalized. You walk in, you punch a couple buttons, it you know turns up the heat, closes the curtains, um, things like that. Which I'm like, that's nice. That's really nice. Of course, everything was in like yen or something like that. So I'd have to sit down and like find a way to translate yen to dollars. But they weren't cheap, from what I could tell. I know the dollar compared to the yen is like I think what it is like 1 yen is like I don't know 50 cents or something like that here in the states. I think I'd have to go back to look at my money converter. And the reason why I had a money converter on my phone is, or had, I think I got rid of it, is because I was like, oh man, this like dollar to whatever the currency is I'm looking at. It's pretty cool because a lot of the European countries, no longer use a euro, or they use a euro for like tourists, and then they use their regular. What was Germany was the mark, so the mark, or the quid if you're going to England, um, it differs. In fact, some countries in Europe have totally stopped using the euro. Don't know why. They just, I guess it was too complicated or too difficult. But uh, go back to sleep here. Oreo does not want to go to sleep today. We put her down for a nap, and like 10 minutes later, she starts barking. So it's like, I'll just let her stay up. I mean, and Jerry's like, no, she'll get cranky. But anyhow, she's a weird dog. That's all I have to say. She makes these weird noises that it almost sounds like she's trying to talk. But um, let's get back to where I'm, I'm sorry. That's one of the things I did talk to my doctor about when I went into my primary is ADH, ADHD medication, for you know people with my issues, and he put me on a wait list to go speak to a neuropsychiatrist because we are starting to realize in the medical community, and granted, I'm not in the medical community, but I know enough about the medical community that we are starting to find out that adults who never had ADHD at a certain age, especially in men, and I think it's worse in women than men, but I don't know. As we age, because of hormonal changes, it causes other changes. Like you could have been a grade A honor roll student, and then when you get to a certain age, oh, this did come off. When you get to a certain age, your hormones change and you start slipping, and then boom, all of a sudden, somebody in the family looks at you and go, "You got an issue. You need to go talk to your doctor about because you're either you can't focus or you're all over the place or whatever." Um, like my wife. My wife used to be hyper focused. She used to be able to focus pinpoint on whatever it was she was doing. And now it's like, I don't know if it's the medication, the hormones, or what, but she can be, when she's on her medication, she can be going and going and going, but without the medication, it's just like, what was I thinking about? What was it going to ask you? I don't know. But that's what we're dealing with right now is the not just the physical aspect of our health, but the mental, psychological part is starting to creep up. Um, for Jerry, it was almost practically overnight. For me, it was just a long, slow. Oh yeah, this is coming back into my life. Yay! I really don't want to deal with it. Um, but the the whole thing that's going on with that. Um, the problem is the medication Jerry takes, which is Ritalin. Um, they're in a short supply of because of one thing or another, which makes me go, oh great! So the whole country is going bonkers. I don't know. But my thing is, I used to be able to take. I gotta find it because I think it is a mental boost or a Shinikia is how I pronounce it. I don't even know how to spell it. I haven't taken it in such a long time. That and niacin. Those are two items I want back in my pill regimen because they're natural. No, that's not the only reason, but I know that they were helping me in the past, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, you know. So I'm just like, I don't know, but at this time, at point in time, we are still looking at places in the Pueblo Canyon City region. Um, so I'm like, right now there's a few open locations that are within our price range. But as a couple people said to me that as we get closer to spring, um, okay, Jay went back to the bedroom. Probably because I was not there or because of the puppy barking too much. Yeah, she's talking to the dog. But I was told by a couple of different people as we get closer to spring, that's when a lot of people are doing their moving or they're buying and selling. And I was like, well, they were doing that in the fall. So maybe it's two seasons. And of course, if you're in a college town like Rolla, you got college kids moving out of town in the spring, and then you got college kids moving back into town during the fall. So, what is she doing in there with the dog? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But the one thing that gets me right now is just the whole system. I mean, yeah, I get it. I kind of understand it, but it sometimes it's just like it doesn't make sense because with my mental status right now, I there are days where I'm like an adult and I go, okay, I get it. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do that. Then there are other days where my brain's like a kid. I'm like, why can't we just get up and move right now? Why do we have to worry about this, and this? So it, it's it. I think part of my problem is the reality of life in general is catching up to me, and like I said, with yesterday's realization of what's going to happen when we move to Colorado when it comes to me to Jerry and her welfare. Now we're thinking of two different things because of my back issue. We were thinking about getting disability. But if we get disability, I won't get paid to be her healthcare proxy, um, basically her caretaker, basically what I should be doing right now, or should have been doing the whole time. Now I understand why we got help from uh, an agency that hey kicking, an agency that provides you with a caretaker for 3.5 hours. Um, it's a little bit more time than hospice was giving because I actually no, it might be about the same. Because with hospice, it was like every day we would have at least three different people coming in. One person just to well check, another person to help with PT, and then I think we had like a I forgot if we had a third person or who the third person was. Excuse me, I'm like a little distracted by something I fell over. Oh, hand sanitizer. Okay. Um, so I mean, there's like I can understand what Jerry's doing with the private agency, and I understand why she was off hospice while she was doing chemo because they were like, if you're basically being treated for X, Y, and Z, we can't really provide you with any assistance because most chemo or most cancer that's above a three basically is considered life threatening, and I don't know why they don't want to deal with somebody who's on holding on by a string. Um, I'm not saying that was Jerry, but she was holding on with positivity and good vibes. Of course, Jerry's a fighter, so it was it wasn't one of those things like, oh yeah, Jerry. We doctors can't pinpoint how long we've got with Jerry, so I know Jerry's going to be around for a good long time. But I never held to that. I always, like I try to put the good in front and worry about the bad at some other time. But the thing is I was at least, oops, excuse me, I was at least, mentally prepared for the possibility of losing her, at an earlier stage. But I am so happy that, you know, powers of be said no. She's going to be around for a while. She's going to be around to pester you and disturb you and just cause all kinds of chaos for you. And I was like, okay, I'll roll with that. I'd rather her be alive and cause me all kinds of problems than me grieving and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the next stage of my life. Actually, kicking Jerry has gotten a whole lot better. To be honest with you, she is um, she is no longer needing chemo right now because last scan said nothing changed, and her and the doctor agreed that if nothing changed on this set of scans and whatnot, that she would just stop taking chemo. And I'll tell you what, the weekend after she stopped, because she stopped taking chemo on a Friday, and over that weekend, you can literally see and hear the energy and the positivity coming back to her. Granted, she does have days where if she overdid it the day before, she's feeling like, you know, hey, somebody get the license plate of that Mack truck because it just ran my wife over. Um, that kind of thing. As for my practicing, and I have not stopped. It's just I'm not doing it every day because some days I have time for it and some days I don't. Um, right now, I'm actually working on a combination of learning more about spell jars and creating my grimoire, which is mostly spell jars right now. Um, in fact, this past weekend, one of our best friends was driving back from Georgia, and she had to go from Georgia to Texas. And Jerry wasn't feeling that great that day. We were having some personal problems, not me and Jerry, but just problems that caused us issues. Um, and I, well, I cast a good. I did a protected travel spell from one of my many books. And she contacted us yesterday at 7:30 that she got home safely, and I was like, okay, good. Yeah, but I am kind of working on fixing up the house more so we can try to put it on the market when we're ready. Right now, it looks like it might not be until late March, because late March, early April, because of medical appointments. As far as I'm concerned, once the pain management people start working with me and I get that dealt with, where I don't have as much pain in my shoulder, because right now it's just a dull, agonizing, feels like somebody's got their knuckle and just grinding it into my shoulder blade, which I can tolerate, but that just basically means don't try to do too much heavy lifting, otherwise it will hurt more. I will say the gabapentin is working, but I've also found other things that work just as good as the gabapentin. But I gotta get to the store and get me some ginseng, golden root, or goldenrod, not root, echinacea, and well, niacin comes in a pill. Echinacea comes in either a pill or it's grounded leaves. So yeah, um, I think when she first, when that last week when she stopped taking the chemo medicine, which was basically two pills, or yeah, two pills twice a day, and that made her feel like crap. But it's one of those things where it's like I said, she ended her chemo on a Friday, and by Monday morning she was full of energy until and I think it's more psychological than physical, because she wasn't feeling any major pain in her right hip, but they want to do a second MRI on her left hip, because they saw a shadow or something like that in her one of her MRIs that she took before she stopped taking chemo. Um, yeah, um, that's one of the kicking. That's one of the things I'm hoping for when we get to Colorado, because I don't know if I said this before or not, but when we went up there back in July, last July, as soon as we crossed over the Colorado border, I can just feel all my cares and pain and woes just slide away. And I was like, yep, I'm home. Um, and, well, let's just put it this way. Jerry can say what she wants, because we did talk about this. Jay keeps on telling people it was because of her that we decided to go to Colorado. And I was like, no. We talked as a family. We discussed it. We had our options of which locations had cancer facilities and the ability, or the option of paying a spouse to take care of their own spouse. And well, we looked at North Carolina. It was like, no, too humid. We looked at we looked at not Arizona. We looked at it was either Michigan or Minnesota. I think it was Michigan. And we were like, no, too cold because lakefront snow and whatnot. And then we landed on Colorado, because I was like, because when she said Colorado, I said, that's the place. She goes, are you sure? I'm so, yeah, we can live in southern Colorado. It's a little bit warmer than northern Colorado. Yeah, we will get our fair share of snow and cold weather like we do here in Missouri, but it's a dry climate with very little to. It's got like just enough humidity to make it feel like it's not a desert, but not enough to make it feel like Georgia. Um, so yeah, Colorado has a lot of great places to get in touch. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know of a couple. I'm not moving to Colorado to meet this lady, but I'm hoping that I bump into her or one of her three girls who are all married and they're maybe in the 30s by now. Her name was Mary Summer Rain. She was the one who first got me into the natural medicines and Native American shamanism. All her books are packed away right now. But the first book I read of hers was called Phantoms of Foot, and it was stories about how her and her husband, I'm not going to say his name, had gone and out, out to de-haunt or help spirits get to the other side. And that piqued my interest and about piqued my interest in her books as well as her life, and I read just about every one of the, well, let's see here. I read Spirit Song, Phantoms of Foot, no, Spirit Song, Phoenix Rising, Dreamwalker, Phantoms of Foot, Earthway. Um, I can't remember the names of the other ones because those first five really got me intrigued. And after day, after daybreak, um, Earthway and Daybreak. After I think Daybreak was after Earthway, but after Earthway, I couldn't find her books. I knew there were more books out there. I knew inside that she had to have more books, and it took me 5 to 10 years to start finding the other books because by the time, yeah, by the time I started looking for her other books was shortly after I got married, and Jerry was gracious enough to help me find the other books. And of course, we had money together, so I didn't consider it. I considered it like we both bought them. Unfortunately, because of Superstorm Sandy, all those books kind of got washed away, and I've had to slowly reclaim a couple of those books. I got Earthway, I got Phantoms of Foot, and then a bunch of her new ones. It was hard to find replacements for Spirit Song. Um, was it Spirit Song? I don't know. The first three, basically. Um, and I am, well, I'm happy with the books I have because Earthway is more like Phantoms of Foot to me is one of those kind of like I want to get that one back because it's the book that started everything. Literally started everything. Everything to do with herbalism and self healing and making of medicines and teas and got me into the shamanism, which got me into druidism, which got me into Wicca, and then finding out that I descended from the Norse community. The rune stones. Um, I have. I consider myself a baby. Yeah, I'm gonna say baby Wiccan, baby witch, whatever you want to call it. I do read my own readings for myself. A deck called Blessed Be. Then I've got another one that's based on the Norse mythology, which is called Bifrost. And a lot of people are, get mad at me because, like, how can you call it yourself a Christian yet you study all these things that are considered forbidden? And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, I still call myself a Christian. I also study things that happen to do with my heritage, but I don't remember reading anything in the Bible that tells me that using His gifts, basically the plants and the herbs and whatnot that He gave us for medical purposes. I don't remember anything in the Bible saying that we can't use crystals and stones for healing or anything like that. The only thing that I remember reading in the Bible that says that it's a no-no is what they call divination, basically trying to, foretell the future. Well, okay, I understand that, but I also understand the future is not written, so it doesn't matter. We can use crystals or cards or rune stones to try to predict the future. But the thing is, the future is not written, so we might get a prediction, and the powers that be decides no, that's you know no, we're not going down that path. We're going to go down this other path. So it just you know it just amazes me how many people don't realize how connected we are to the earth. Because look at Genesis. God took a handful of sand in His hands, formed it into a man, and breathed the breath of life into that. And then He took a rib bone and some more dirt, breathed into that, and made a woman. So we are basically elements of the earth. There's actually five elements. A lot of people don't realize that because they miss the crucial one: earth, wind, fire, and water. What's the fifth one? Soul. That's the part that God gave us, a soul. So when this vessel that we live in is broken and crumbled and basically useless, the soul comes out and goes back to God. Is there anything wrong with that? No. It's just I have a book that I haven't been reading lately because I am so busy with other things that I packed it away for Colorado. It's basically the missing books of the Bible, and I've already read half of them. Going, okay, I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that a lot. One of the things that gets me is one of the areas that was removed, which was the whole book of Enoch. I think it was Enoch, but a particular book, and I can't remember the name, that was removed from the Bible, talked about how certain men and women had certain gifts like empathy, telepathy, telekinesis. Aliens were real, even back in the Bible days. I mean, I can't remember the chapter, verse, or book that talks about a wheel within a wheel. That really sounds like an alien spaceship to me. You know, but you know, have a good day, Jim. Off to work. I'll try to listen as I drive. No big deal, kicking. No big deal. I have a lot of people who end up watching my videos later because they were at work or something like that. But there are so many things that people don't realize were removed in the Bible, and then when other people who've studied, all the original texts, including the ones that were originally removed from the Bible, sit there and go, "Why do we remove this? Why was this removed?" It's some of it is pertinent information. Some of it might be information that people kind of go, "Well, I can see why they removed that because it's talking about something that we don't know if it existed or not." You know, why do certain people have weird dreams and memories of, you know, what looked like Adam and Eve running out of a strange looking, can't tell if it's a building or what, but it does not look like anything that we know of as biblical era construction. It's all bright, it's metallic, You know, don't know where the lights are coming from, but you know, there's a lot of things that we can guess about because if you read the Bible cover to cover, word for word, there's a lot of stuff in there that's like something got cut out right about here because it just doesn't sound like it's finished. Sound like they skipped over a bunch of stuff and went to something different. Or one thing I've been having trouble is I have a Bible that basically connects the New Testament to chapter, verse, and book of the Old Testament, and I'm like, okay, I'm confused. And like me and my wife sat down and talked about the Bible. We did it a lot when we first got together because she was Catholic and I was just mainstream Christian. And we got together and we said, there's a lot of stuff missing out of the Bible. There's some stuff in the Bible that contradicts itself. There's some stuff in the Bible that just doesn't make sense because something's missing. So, yeah, there we are. But enough about the Bible because I know I'm going to get a lot of negative feedback or a lot of people questioning. And I don't care if they question or not. I know who I am. I know where I belong. You know, like today's Thursday. I can, instead of calling it Thursday, which was created by the Roman Empire, I can call it what the Norsemen called it, Odin's Day, or not Odin's Day. Excuse me, that's Wednesday, Thor's Day. Thor's Day. In fact, I haven't changed this in a long time. But my thing is why do people want to argue about certain things? Because there are certain things that are just like you can't disprove it, you can't prove it, you know. Or other people who want to go verbatim for the Bible. That's fine and dandy. Go verbatim by the Bible. Um, you know, today's the 15th. My thing is, if we're going to go verbatim by the Bible, first off, let me ask you which Bible you read. I've read 3 different types. Actually, the Holy Bible, King James Version, the New King James Version, the NIV, Bible called the Quest Bible, which was a men's study Bible, and it was based off of the New International, the NIV. Then we have the New American Bible, which by the time I saw that Bible, I was like, okay, all these Bibles are practically saying the same thing except for King James, the Holy Bible, and the NIV. Now, the NIV and the Holy Bible are almost the same, but not identical. And then we have the Bible that we got from the not Martin Luther, the Billy Graham people who came out and helped us clean up and gut our house in New York after Superstorm Sandy. We lost a lot of stuff. So, you know, got destroyed. You know, all of them. I mean, my book of reptiles, my book of trees, my book of flowers, my book of mammals, my book of birds, fish. You name it, they had a book for it. I mean, marine life, stuff like that. I'll probably never get those back. Um, if I decide to do what I want to do, I'm going to need them back. I'm going to need to find a way to get them, go out and buy them or find similar. Or just look for a book that's Colorado wildlife, that has everything. The birds, the mammals, the reptiles, the flora and fauna, the rocks and minerals. In fact, I think when I moved to New York, I had 13 of those books. Each one of them had to do with a different group of nature. You know, rocks and minerals, flora and fauna, marine life, mammals, birds, trees, flowers, insects, you name it. If it had a category, they probably had a book about it, which my father in law enjoyed quite well because they were more detailed than the books he had. Because every animal, tree, flower, whatever, it had colors, it had habitat, you know, breeding cycles, migration cycles, um, you know, anything and everything you need to know about the animal from the inside out. And I don't mean it had pictures of its internal organs or anything like that, but talked about its diet. You know, it talked about its living habitat, its favorite foods, what it actually eats, not just favorite foods, but all the different things it eats. Um, they even had like in the corner would be like um, shoot, I can't remember what animal it was. Oh, bald eagle. The bald eagle up in the corner it said near extinction. You know, it would literally let you know how close it is from extinction. You know, just to say, hey, if you want to know, this particular animal is close to being extinct because of habitat destruction or food source destruction. You know, things like that. But which reminds me of, I saw a video yesterday on Reels on Facebook Reels, and they were somewhere in Alaska. They were like professional fishermen, and this one guy, he like was cleaning, deboning, and filleting a salmon, or was it trout? It's one of those big fish that are up there in Alaska. And this eagle literally landed by the fisherman and was sitting there. And then when the fisherman like turned its head, this eagle grabbed the fillet of fish and, and took off with it. Um, hey Sheila, everything was actually good. Mom's good, Jerry's good, dog's good. Dog's being a real pain in the butt, but what do you expect from a puppy? Um, but everything was actually good. I was just about ready, actually, about ready to check my time and see if I needed to get off because I don't know. Almost, almost. Okay, but bottom line that I was starting out with, but ended up going down a lot of different rabbit holes. So I'm sorry, folks. Nobody was trying to ask questions or anything like that, so I just kept on going. Um, with the way our health is, Jerry's is improving. Mine is, eh. Um, oh, geez. What am I most looking forward to living in Colorado? The plethora of haunted locations to go investigate. The closeness to being, close. Put it this way, Colorado is full of things to see, things to do, um, but it's also got a lot of natural. I'm just gonna say natural energy sources. I mean, um, if if you were into some of the things I'm into, the natural power locations and ley lines. That's what I wanted to say. Ley lines. If you don't know what a ley line is, basically a ley line is a place on the globe that intersects with a lot of different energy sources. Um, so let's say you have a spot where two ley lines or more are intersecting or crossing over each other. It's a natural source of power, um, and if it's not corrupt, it's a great place to basically just go relax and recharge. Um, but I am, I'm interested in those things. Do you watch any? Oh, I do. I watched. Oh man, Tennessee Wraith Chasers, Ghost Hunters, Haunted Minds. There's so many different paranormal shows that I've watched that it's hard. It's kind of hard to name them all, but the ones that I have watched the most is um, Ghost Hunters and Tennessee Wraith Chasers. Now, Ghost Hunters, they have Ghost Hunters here in America. Then they've got a Ghost Hunters of the UK. Um, so there's like two or three different branches of Ghost Hunters. They all started with the very first one, Ghost Hunters here in America, and then it just branched off to Europe, and I don't even know if Australia has one. I don't think Australia does, but I know they have one like in England, and then here in America. And then you got the Tennessee Chasers are great because I mean they're a great group of guys from Tennessee. They all have jobs and families. Um, well, except for Brandon. I like Brandon because I mean, granted, he has a high level autism, but he is like his brain is just like he can take. He's like a MacGyver. He can take just about anything and turn it into a ghost trap or something like that. Um, I mean, I watched those guys for, from the, I think from the time they actually began filming to the time that they just, something happened. They either changed channels or stopped doing their things live or something like that. But yeah. And no, they're not on YouTube. They're regular, like, what was it? One of them was on history, and the other one was on sci-fi. I think it was no, not sci-fi. It wasn't sci-fi. It was Travel Channel. I think it was. Um, but I haven't seen anybody here on YouTube, so I don't have anybody YouTube wise that I watch. Um, oh, my tea's gone. So it's my life is. I mean, ever since I was a teenager, my life has gone in so many different directions that it's hard to really keep track of them all. But I began getting interested in the paranormal and the supernatural, and well, paranormal and supernatural are one thing. Um, I read books on NDEs, and NDE is basically near death experience. I read books on all kinds of psychic type phenomenon, or anything to do with the realm of paranormal. I also read a lot of different books on religion. Now here's the thing: you can be religious or you can be a religion. Religious people go to church and they do the church thing. As soon as they're at a church, and they go off and do whatever they dang well want, feeling like they can do whatever they want because no matter what, as long as they're in church, they're forgiven for their sins. That's religious. Now, religion is like somebody who's Christian or Pentecostal and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm more, I have more of a religion than being religious. Maybe I just said that backwards. I think I just said that backwards. Religion, religious. You can be, okay, yeah. You can be religious but not be religion or be connected to a religion. I don't know. There's a saying that's behind that. But see, my thing is, I believe that you don't have to go to church, a physical building, because you can be a church of your own. or you can't have church in your own home, because the Bible doesn't say anything about you need to build, you know, for the Christians, for New Testament, you don't have to have a physical building to go to every day. All you have to have is, what is it, two or more, and He will be there with you. That to me is more important than going to a building, listening to the minister do his spiel. Some ministers will actually be more on point with the Bible or with God or Christ. Some of them will talk about like things that have nothing to do with having a relationship with God. It talks about the news, things like that. To me, that doesn't belong in a church building. Um, yeah, well, if the real JD would show up, yes. The person who's calling themselves JD Mailman is not the real guy. At least it hasn't seemed like him. But Jerry is actually looking for some of the same things I am. To be able to get out in nature, to be able to go see the sights. She doesn't know about the paranormal part because she's kind of like, you know. But yeah, Jerry is really looking forward to getting to Colorado to see all the sights and whatnot. Um, but back to what I was saying is you you can have three or more people in your home on a Sunday, and basically reading out of the Bible, and you've got church right there. Going to a physical building, well, that's where I kind of draw the line because I have found so many different groups of people who go to an actual building, and I've gone with them, or my own experience with the building I was going to. And there was, to me, there was not enough religion. There was too much politics, too much, stuff going on that has nothing to do with God. And that was my biggest thing. I'm sitting here doing something I can do at home for free. And at church, they're asking you for money. They're asking you to tithe. Now, I know it says in the Bible to tithe. Um, I can see so many different groups that deserve my tithing than a church building. Because here's what got me. When Mom and I were living here in Missouri before I got married, Mom was running into some financial situations, and I had just finished a year's worth of Ozark Christian College. And I suggested, because me being the Bible reader, the person I am that reads a lot of stuff, and realized, yes, okay, this is good, this is good. And one of the things the Bible says is that the church at the time of Christ, which is basically him, his disciples, and whatever gathering of people that was around him. Basically, he said that any money collected should be going back towards necessities, which is basically paying the person some money that they're staying with, and giving money to orphans and widows. Well, at the time, I also knew that the United States government considered me an orphan because my father, who was a member of the Air Force, so I was considered an orphan. Now, a lot of people say no because your mom was still alive. Um, but we went to the church that we was going to at the time, and we asked the I don't know what you want to call them, the council, the people who basically do deal with the finances and all that fun stuff. Um, they basically outright said no to both my mom's request for assistance and my request for assistance. Well, there, right there, I just kind of went, wait a minute. You guys are part of the church, and you guys are the deacons. That's the word I was looking for. Deacons of the church. And the Bible says that the church is supposed to help with widows and orphans. Now, I can understand you turning me down because I'm not really truly an orphan. But to turn down my mom, who is a widow, goes against all the Bible studies I've ever read. Goes against everything the Bible even stands for. So that right there kind of went red flag. I was not happy. And it was the spark that started the downward spiral of not liking the building or the established hierarchy of a physical building. Well, what really got me, and this is not bashing Catholics, but the two other flags that made me go, nope, you're done. I'm done with a physical establishment. Was they excommunicated my wife from the church for marrying outside of the Catholic Church. And then number three is they basically said she can no longer teach catechism. Well, she wasn't really teaching catechism, she was teaching Bible. And there's a big difference according to the Catholic Church. So I just went, okay, fine, I'm done. I'm not going to establish if I'm Christian, Catholic, Baptist, Pentecostal, Presbyterian, or any of that. You know, I'm just going to establish that, yes, I do believe in God. Yes, I do pray to Him from time to time. Well, I shouldn't say time to time. It's been a lot lately. But I'm going to go with my gut because my gut hasn't really steered me wrong. You know, it's made me question things that made me went, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. But I love everybody. I wish everybody would love me back for who I am. Now, if people don't like me for who I am, being, yes, born a Christian, raised a Christian, still have my Christian roots, but I also know that nature, which was created by God, provides us with all the necessary elements to live a healthy life. It's modern day medicine with their artificial chemicals and whatnot, which my body hates. I'll tell you some of the stories about some of the medicines I've had. And yes, I still continue to try medicines, and if they cause me any problems, I'm either going to talk to my doctor about something more natural than the artificial chemicals that, I'm sorry, excuse my language, has fucked me over many a years. And this goes all the way back to my teenage years. I want that piece of chocolate, but I want to finish talking. Um, when I was in my teens, basically 16, 17 years of age, somewhere around there, I had a psychological breakdown. Literally, I lost my shit. And, you know, I was seeing a psychiatrist at the time because I knew I was having problems with depression. But I had lost my shit, you know, and psychiatrists realized I needed to stay at the mental institution, Camelback, Camelback Mental Hospital. Well, let's say that's when they started me on an antidepressant. I can't remember, imipramine or something like that. Um, 3 months later, it wasn't working. So they took my blood test and went, okay, you're fine. You're not showing any elevated, chemicals. So they increased my dose. 3 months later, same problem. It wasn't working. They increased my dose. After 4 increases, they took my blood test. I took another blood test. And they said, we can't give you any more of this kind of medication. We don't know what to do for you. And I was like, well, why can't you give me the medication or some other kind of medication similar to it? And they're like, well, first off, we're giving you the best medication we can. Second off, if we continue to up your dosage, you will have lethal levels of this chemical inside your body. And I went, so? Because at the time I didn't care. I wanted to die. I really wanted to die. Too much going on, too much depression, too many people not helping me, getting the wrong kind of information from non-professional people, just a lot of that kind of stuff. And well, of course, they took me off the medication. And well, let me just tell you how bad it got. Back at home, my mom had, well, in in between the 3 different months I ended up staying at Camelback, my mom got a boyfriend who was a real jackass. Basically, he was one of the biggest reasons for a lot of my stress. And thinking he can come over and come into my house, even if he was invited by mom to stay with us. Got his kids from his mother-in-law. He thought he had the run of the house, and he was trying to convince my mom to kick me out, to just basically kick me out, make me basically a homeless, penniless person. And I knew when I heard that it was because he wanted my mom to take care of his kids. Hey, Jerry. I love you too. Well, what happened one day was I had gone and I was cleaning up a bunch of stuff in my room, and fit into them or wear them. But as a friendly gesture to my mom's boyfriend, Mike. Well, let's just say a little bit earlier, you know, after I had put the shoes down, I had gone downstairs to get myself a glass of Sunny D, which I purchased with my own money. Well, let's just say two things happened that I didn't think would ever happen. One, I took the glass of Sunny D that he was trying to pour and yelled at him. And the glass was, partially full. So I drank that down and I threw the cup at the kitchen sink. This is a plastic cup that I threw. It shattered a glass. It literally shattered a glass that was sitting in the sink. Well, as I was trying to go back upstairs, Mike started getting on me. And I said, look, first off, I bought that Sunny D with my own money. I'm not letting your kids drink my foods, my drinks, especially without permission, you know. And then he kept on getting on me. And I basically said, look, you might as well start sleeping with one eye open or I'm going to cut you open like a Christmas turkey. Well, I had found out from my mom a couple days later that he turned to her after I was out of earshot and asked her if I was joking. And all she said was, he is his father's son. That was the first time and last time I made a threat like that because I realized that, that could have gone wrong. I could have ended up in juvenile. But that just, that was just one of the many things that showed how my attitude can change, can literally flip in a minute, or not even a minute, in a heartbeat. Keep on looking at my coffee or my tea. But I've learned my lesson since then. I've tried. I think she's talking about her and the dog. Um, I've tried ever since then not to get that upset or violent. The last time I got really, really upset was shortly after me and Jay got married, and I don't know exactly what happened or what was said that caused me to lose it. Luckily, my education from my father was never to hit a woman, so I couldn't hit her. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine, Jay. Um, So that one day I was getting mad at Jerry, and I was trying to contain everything. Um, I didn't black out like I passed out. I blacked out like I did not like myself, the usual normal person I am. Went to the back of the room, aka my brain, and something else was trying to come out. And Jerry got scared, and she said she never want to see me like that again because all she could see in my eyes was darkness. And ever since then, I've tried not to get, I've tried not to lose it or blank out, however you want to put it. But I am, you know, out of all the things that's happened in my life, um, I am thankful for Jerry. I mean, yeah, we have our ups and downs. We get mad at each other, but we try to work it out. 9 times out of 10, we do work it out. There's that one time that I just either I or Jerry, I don't know, either one of us, just can't get like whatever it is we're trying to get to each other, through to each other. Um, but okay, yeah, I don't remember all the details. I just remember what you told me. Um, but right, we've learned to agree to disagree. Which I am you. When, when I was younger, that was not something that was a norm for my family. It was either somebody had to agree and comply, or leave it. You know, there's no agreement or disagreement. It's just dropped in. All right. Uh, should have put this on Do Not Disturb. Yeah, that's right. Today is Oreo's adoption day anniversary. I guess you can say. um, but anyhow, I do want to get off this because I do have things to do around the house, as well as spend time with Jerry. Um, but everything here is going well. At least I think it's going well. I don't know, Jared. Do you think it's going well? we have we're dealing with some of our issues and getting moving forward with the house. And I think Jerry Ann went back into her room because we were going to put away some stuff, and then I guess her butt started hurting. That's the only one thing that I worry about Jerry right now, because everything else is going better. Is oh, your stomach? Okay, I'm sorry. Um, she can come outside. She can come out in the living room from time to time and sit all day. And the only thing she has to complain about later in the day is her butt. I think it's because she doesn't sit on her long much, so her butt's getting like, hey, I'm not used to this anymore. But no, I'm just joking. Jerry does really good. It's just like if her stomach, like she just said, her stomach. If her stomach starts to bug her, she'd rather be in the bedroom because then it's easier to get from the bedroom to the bathroom than the living room to the bathroom. So it's one of those like, okay, I can understand. But anyhow, um, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Like I said, I have some stuff to do around the house. I need to try to spend more time with Jerry as well, and that's my fault. I know a lot of times Jerry will go, "Oh no, go back out there and play your games or do what you were doing," and I'm like, "Really?" Because sometimes when I don't spend time with her, she gets upset, which I can understand because I mean she's opposite than me. I don't really need a lot of interaction. She does, which is like trying to balance, so everything's good. That and once we get to Colorado, we were probably going to spend 75% of our time together doing something, whether it's going out to go see something, or when it's warmer and we can either rent an RV, or I don't know about us in a tent anymore, not because of the way we sleep, but because getting up off the ground is something I'm not really looking forward to. I would love to go camping, but at this point in time, I would rather go glamping with an RV. Um, I mean, a lot of this stuff will still be usable, but you know, not all of it. Like the tent, we can probably, well, we'll save the tent for who knows what. Maybe I get ambitious and find a way to get one of those air mattresses that's nice and tall, make it easier to get in and out of the bed or whatever, you know. But anyhow, how long have I been on here? Probably too long. Yeah, almost an hour and a half. All right, so I will start to unwind, but um, I don't want to, but I got to. It's one of those things I have to deal with. um, for those of you who are actually part of the conversation, I appreciate your input and questions. For those of you who are just standing off to the side and listening, um, that's fine too. You know, um, I don't. It's not that I'm concerned or not concerned. I just sometimes wish I had a little bit more interaction with people. Um, I guess a lot of people just like to sit back and listen. I don't know. One thing I do like though, that this was calm and quiet. Um, it's all right, Jay. Um, I don't have to deal with any trolls or anybody like that who want to come in here and be disruptive. Sorry, my eye started itching. And it could be anything from dry skin to flaky skin. I really need to go either put a buttload of lotion on my forehead or a shower. Probably need a shower because I know it's TMI. I haven't showered in a good while. So anyhow, I think we're gonna do a live. Well, I know we're gonna do a live Sunday. I don't know about Saturday because sometimes I do a live Saturday. Sometimes I do it Friday. But since today's Thursday, I don't know if I'm gonna wait until Sunday. We'll see what happens. So anyhow, I hope you guys have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.